One solution that I considered for some time, even before I got into all of this, was that ISKCON should really have no gurus, period. In fact, it began floating this idea back around 1995. The managerial structure that Srila Prabhupada had set up for ISKCON was that the GBC was to be accepted as the ultimate authority, and accepting that system doesn't provide space for there to be any real or actual spiritual masters functioning within the same ashram. Actually, gurus by Shastric definition are to be the highest and ultimate authority for their disciples. They are to be the masters of their disciples and the master of the ashram where they function as guru. Yet the ISKCON ashrams have higher ultimate authorities over and above the gurus, which is the GBC. That creates nothing but friction and conflict. According to ISKCON's founder Acharya, the members of ISKCON must accept the GBC as our ultimate authority, but when the new members accept the GBC as a higher authority above the authority of their own guru, then they're actually accepting the GBC as their master, as their ashram authority. And as such, they're in violation of the scripture for not adhering to the scriptural principles that they must accept only their guru as their ultimate master. On the flip side, if they do accept their guru as their ultimate authority over and above that of the GBC, then they're in violation of Srila Prabhupada's order that ISKCON members must accept the GBC as the highest authority. Therefore, I concluded that there really wasn't any room for the real gurus within ISKCON. At that time, I thought, there should be no Ritvik representatives of Srila Prabhupada either, since Srila Prabhupada wasn't present to make that final decision to accept new disciples. As a result, I started floating the idea that there should be no gurus at all, not as part of the official ISKCON organization. Rather, my idea at that time was that those who wanted to take up the role of guru, they should do that in their own separate ashrams. And in their own separate ashrams, then they will become the master of that ashram. And their disciples can come, they and their disciples can come to ISKCON, to the ISKCON temples for artiks, programs, giving classes. This way, those who wanted to be gurus, they can become real, actual gurus in their own separate ashrams. In their own ashrams, they will be the ultimate authority and master. And for those who accept them as their guru, they can accept that guru as their ultimate authority within that guru's ashram. This way, those who want to be guru, they can become real gurus. And for a number of years, I had promoted this as a solution to this issue. But by early 1999, I realized this was not a workable and sustainable solution at all. It would ultimately lead to the total dissolution of ISKCON as an organization. For starters, the idea was not based on any instructions given by Srila Prabhupada. The problem is that while the gurus would become the masters of their own ashrams, this would mean that those ashrams would not be under the authority of the GBC, as they would be separate and independent. In the same way, in order for those gurus to act as the masters in their ashrams, those gurus themselves would no longer be under the authority of the GBC. This means that in order for those gurus to start their own ashrams, they would be actually taking leave of ISKCON, taking leave of being under the authority of the GBC and taking leave of ISKCON. Along the same line, all those who became their disciples would also have to take leave of ISKCON for the same reason. Because for them to accept their guru as their actual master and ultimate authority, they would no longer be accepting the ISKCON GBC as their ultimate authority. And in this way, there would no longer be any members of ISKCON. Obviously, such a system would ultimately lead to the total dissolution of Srila Prabhupada's mission, because all the only future members left in ISKCON would wind up being the new bhaktas. Because as soon as one accepts a guru and takes a guru, they'd be taking leave of ISKCON and no longer under the authority of the GBC. So obviously, I realized that was not a viable solution.